to the flock that God has put him over. If you know anything about sheep, you've read stories and seen things on TV, sheep are animals that are not very smart. They just go where they're led. And they literally follow the shepherd. Where he goes, that's where they go. Every once in a while, you'll find that there's always a sheep that will scatter and go his or her own way. Sometimes that costs them their lives. Sometimes it costs them problems. In the Old Testament, they would talk about that when a sheep would keep straying away, that the shepherd would literally break the sheep leg, put the sheep on his neck, and haul the sheep with him. Breaking the legs was to keep him alive. I would rather have a broke leg and be dead. Amen? Amen. And so he would do this to keep him in check. Jesus is saying today that I am that good shepherd. I'm the good shepherd. And he says that my sheep knows my voice. And I can believe today that you know the voice of your children. I can recall that there was a time that Carmen was feeling well and she called me and her mom. And we woke up at night, we could hear her. And we got up that night running toward her room. You know their voice. I could close my eyes and be in a private room and every child in here could say daddy. But when Carmen and Ebony said, I would immediately know their voice. Because the shepherd said, my sheep know my voice, and a stranger they won't follow. And I began to analyze it and think that oftentimes you are still a sheep, but we are following strangers. We're still sheep, but we're following after people who are leading us astray. In Matthew, it talks about the blind leading the blind. When you have leadership abilities in you, there's often somebody that's going to check your ability to lead. There's often someone who's going to criticize you for making the tough decisions, but somebody has to make it. Even with the president of the United States, whether they make decisions to go into war or make decisions to have tariff wars with China, those are decisions that affect us. And I'm pretty sure, even though we may want to talk about the president, they don't make those decisions very easy. When you're having a young soldier, whether it's boy or a girl, to go off into war and potentially lose their lives for your country or for another country, those are decisions that require a lot of thought. And we're on the sidelines to cherry pick them and say, well, if it was me, I wouldn't have done that. Well, you didn't run for president, so it's not you. Well, you're not the CEO of a company that's making a decision on whether or not that company should buy this or not buy that. You're not the pastor of a church that's trying to take that church into the 21st century, trying to take that church to be a church that will still pray. God is still on the throne and God is still in control. And the least thing we do in church is pray. We come to church and we'll sing 3 or 4 songs or maybe 5 or 6 songs. You have your choir and you even have your mass choir. You even have your praise team, your praise dance. And all of that is fine. But if you're not a part of being a sheep of the good shepherd, none of that really matters. You know how many people in life are really doing their own thing and it's not working? How many people are trying to make things happen for themselves and it's not working? And I've made up my mind that I'm not going to participate anymore. You say, well, what do you mean, preacher? We talked about this in Bible study last week. There's a difference between giving up. I'm talking about your giving, seating up or seating down. Oftentimes, church, we're seating down and not up. If you're going to give money to something, give money into good soil that's going to prosper. Give money into things that's going to benefit you. Because the Bible talks about some water, some plants, but he gives the increase. And if you're going to do something, you want to give up into something where the favor of God can be there for you later on. And when you think about the millionaires and the billionaires of this world, oftentimes they pay for very little. Because there's always somebody that wants to give to them. Maybe they give it to them because they would like to have a favor later on. They're certainly not giving to them because they can't afford to buy whatever it is they want. They're giving to them because they want to form a covenant, a relationship with them. When you begin to sow into ministries that you form a covenant with, you're sowing into this good soil because you want God to bless them. That's why Jesus said, I'm the good shepherd. You say, well, preacher, are there any bad shepherds? Absolutely. How many of you been in church and you don't have to raise your hand, but you've been in the $100 prayer line? How many of you ever been in the $50 prayer line or the $25 prayer line? And it goes on to just somebody doing. But if you want to just sow that, you should happily give that. We shouldn't put lines on people. Well, maybe you don't have $100, but you still need the prayer. And oftentimes we have shepherds that will send their sheep out to go and do things for them. And nothing's wrong with raising money to do things, but I say I will trust God. I'm going to believe God. That's why we're a church with one offering. That's why we're a church that believes in tithes and offerings. We believe in giving it one time and blessing it and let God do the work. Oftentimes you be in church and they take up 4 or 5 offerings. And you know you only have that $20, $30, so you peel off 10 for this one, 10 for that one, and 10 for this next one, because they're constantly fleecing. Or we have pastors in the church that are really robbing the people and not even visiting with them when they're sick. And I want to be a kind of preacher that at least if you call me, if I could come, I want to come. If I can't come, I want to be able to pray for you, because I want to be called a good shepherd, a good under shepherd. I want to be a person that I care for my people. I care for their children. When your child aches and hurts, I ache and hurt for you, because those are your children. And I know what you may be going through, because we've all been there. When Jesus was talking to the disciples about this being a good shepherd, he was saying that many hear the word of God and the word of Christ, and they don't understand it because they're not willing to. And it talks about the blessed spirit makes known the blessed Jesus. And Jesus Christ is the door. And oftentimes people may feel that they can come into the church and they can have a relationship with God and not with the Son. Jesus is the one who died for us that allow us to have this relationship with the Father. Amen. And I understand that, some people would think that this is like heresy to make such a statement. Nowhere would Jesus ever told you to pray to him. He told you to pray to the Father. And people get offended when I say that to them. Jesus never told you to worship him. He told you to worship the Father. He said, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be his name, not Jesus' name. Jesus is the person that seals the gap for us. He's the person that opens the way for us. He's the proxy for us, that we can have access to God the Father. Now that you have this access to God, are you talking to him? Oftentimes we wake up and don't even acknowledge God in anything that we do. And you look back at yourself, and if you know your name, if you can tie your shoes, if you can get up and feed yourself, that's something to be thankful for. There's a sister having problems with the knee, her knee is hurting and all swollen up and stuff, man. Man, you thank God that your knee ain't hurting, your back ain't hurting. There's people in this world laid out on their back right now and don't even know they're in the world. There's people today that's been involved in bad accidents and don't even know if they're going to live or die. But look how good God has been to us. Look how gracious he's been to us, that your children are doing well. Maybe they're not excelling in the way you want them to, but still they have a chance. Jesus said, I'm the good shepherd. Amen. Oh my God. When you begin to know the good shepherd, and I know that some people will say, well, it doesn't take all that. You don't have to do all this, and you don't have to do all that. The sad reality is we don't know what it takes. It takes what it takes. It is what it is. You got to do what you have to do. Amen. And your story may not be my story, and yours may not be their story, but it is what it is. And you got to do what you have to do to please God, and you can't compromise your principles for anybody. And so many times, church, we wonder, where is God? Where is God? He's the same place you left him. And if you don't have a relationship with God, how can he be your Father? So many times I find that we stray off into the pastures of other people. We go off into other things. One thing my mom used to say from a secular standpoint, she said, son, don't eat from everybody's table. Eating from everybody's table could make you sick. Sometimes we as church folks go everywhere looking for something good, or looking for that next prophecy, or want someone to prophesy this to us, or want somebody to encourage us to do this. But sometimes, church, you have to encourage. Oh my God, encourage yourself. I find in life that nobody is going to be a bigger advocate for you than yourself. People are going to look at you sometime and say, well, man, I can't believe he did it. But I can believe I did it because I did it. Amen. Because I know what I want to do in life. But there's people say, well, preacher, why don't you go and do this? Why don't you go and do that? No, God is the good shepherd, and I want to stay to be a part of his pasture because I'm his sheep. So many times in life, church, we compromise ourselves for the world. We compromise ourselves. You know, and this is the thing I think is very tough for us as sheeps. It's tough for us to give. Dr. Brown was here last Sunday. He and I preached together, and we had a good time. Amen. Amen. And one thing that I was listening to him say, that it's not even, and it challenged me. So whether our boys walk around with dreads in their hair or their pants sagging down, ain't the style I want for them. They still our kids. And they're still brilliant, regardless of how they dress. The Bible said that David served the Lord in his generation, and then he died. I think the mistake that we're making today, in this day and time, is that we're trying to make our kids like us. And I wanted my girls to work hard, like Dad, work hard and do what I did, and different generation. Y'all get what I'm saying? Amen. There's a post on Facebook, and I said in 1989, at least it said 89, for me it would have been 1979, maybe 80. My GoFundMe was that lawnmower with that milk jug with gas in it. Pushing that lawnmower, that was my GoFundMe. Y'all want to talk to me? My GoFundMe was picking up the funds, taking them to Quick Way Food to sell them to get some money. How many of you guys remember when glass Coke bottles and drink bottles was worth 5 cents and 10 cents? That was my GoFundMe. How many of y'all remember when we used to pick up aluminum cans? That was our GoFundMe. Now that's in our generation now. Then your child generation, it ain't happening. They don't cut grass. They're all allergic to grass. I was allergic to it too. It broke me out too, but I kept cutting. Sometimes you do something long enough, it'll start breaking you out. You get used to it. Yeah, I know you ain't because you cut, but you get used to it. And I know my wife, a respiratory therapist, and she said, put your mask on. Man, I used to cut grass for years with no mask. Now I got to put a mask on because y'all know what I'm saying. Times have changed. And I look back in my life and I'm thinking that I want them to do things I did and they are not going to do it. Somebody talk. They're not in the same generation you're in. Man, you and this pastor right here, they over here in that pastor over there, and they can still be God's sheep. That's right. Oh my God. That's right. And we are so, we're very judgmental of them and call them really lazy because we want them to work hard like we did. Do you really want them to work hard like you did? Honestly? No, you really don't. No, you really don't, man. You really want them to work like you did for $3.35 an hour? You really want them to do the stuff that you had to do? Well, I know the whole point is to teach them values. I believe me, I get it. But you can't teach them your values. You have to teach them God's values. That's right. That's right. That's right. Amen. Ever since Carmen has had a job, I always tell her, you need to tithe out of what you make. You give God 10% out of everything y'all get quiet on me now. And you give it out of it because you want God to bless you. Amen. They said, will a man rob God? Hell yeah, you're robbing it. You've been robbing it. And you know you're robbing it. And then you wonder why you're not blessed. Because you're robbing God. And people who are sowing seed, people who are doing what God has called them to do, there is a difference. And I'll challenge anybody to show me a real tithe payer, a real giver that's not blessed by God, and they do it sincerely. They are blessed by God. Amen. You can't do shortcuts. The Bible says any other way is a thief and a robber. I know you don't want to hear this. But I teach them to sow because God is the one that blesses them, not daddy. The Bible said that he gives you the ability to gain wealth. God does it. By you being faithful in your giving. And I know sometimes for her to pinch off that little $200 and give 10, and then I'm saying give an offering to them. Give something? You say, well, Pastor, I can't give that. You can give it. You just don't want to give it. Go run a stop sign in Tuscaloosa and get you a $200 or $300 ticket and see if you won't get it.
That's right.
Huh? Go on 15th Street and just run on through that traffic light and get that ticket in the mail and see if you won't get it. Huh? You give it. You just don't want to sow the seed to God. He's the good shepherd. Church, it's amazing what we really will do for ourselves and what we won't do for ourselves.
That's right.
Man, we don't want to go to the doctor. Well, I ain't going to the doctor. And then why? Because that's a form of fear. Well, I don't want to hear my lab result, child. I might have cancer. Well, if I do have it, I want to know about it. Huh?
Amen.
He said, I haven't given you the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. And it doesn't seem too sound of a mind not to want to go to the doctor. It doesn't make any sense. But here we are in church, bucket and shower. And maybe all kind of stuff growing inside us. He said, I'm the good shepherd. Or we go in and you know who you are. You touch the basket and you give $1 or $2, but you go out to eat and you pay $15, $20. But boy, when you get sick or something happen to you, Pastor, pray for me. When your child acting a fool and you want people to intercede for you, that's the seed you planted. No seed. Do you expect to get a harvest if you planted no seed? Talk to me. Yeah, that's what's happening. I know, look, church, the thing that's destroying us right now is money. We're some of the brokest people you ever met in your life. We borrow from Peter to pay Paul, but we do what we want to do. You stay eating all that fast food. Huh? We do that, huh? Because you don't want to cook anymore. Huh? Well, everybody, probably most of us today, going out to eat when we leave church. So you got money to do what you want to do. It's just if you want to do it. Huh? And when it comes time to do things that benefits the kingdom, we don't want to do that because, well, I'm not giving the preacher my money. I'm not doing this for the church or whatever. But God is looking at that, and he's saying that you're not the kind of sheep that he wants, because God wants sheep that will give cheerfully. Whatever the need is, they'll make it happen. But plenty of times we don't want to make it happen. This is what, preacher, it seems like it's all about money. No, it's not about money. It's about you. It's about you getting into the kingdom and doing things the way God has commissioned us to do it. And if you don't do it his way, then you wonder, why all these things happen to my children? When you give, the Bible said that he will rebuke the devourer for your name's sake. Man, there's children being tormented by devils. And if you can do anything to get your child free, you would do it. We have co-workers after co-workers taking their children to doctors and psychiatrists trying to help them. Well, this one here is hyperactive. This one here is this way. And you're taking all these different drugs when you can lay that at the altar and give it to Christ. I know it seems like Christ ain't fixing problems anymore, but he is. When you begin to challenge God to do what he said he would do, he said, put me in remembrance of my word. Plead your case, see will I not do it. He said, I'll pour you out a blessing that you don't have room to receive. And when God began to bless us, people look back at us and say, wow, I never thought God would do that for him. Why not? You've been praying for it. We're his child. We got just as much right to have access to God as anyone else. Jesus said, my sheep know my voice, a stranger they won't follow. In the news, you hear all of this stuff about R. Kelly, what he did, what he didn't do. And I'm not going to bash him or talk about it. I'm just saying, what if that was your son? I know. You don't want to hear it. What if that was your grandson? See, it's so quick to be so judgmental to other people's lives and what they've done, good or bad. I mean, every tub has to sit on its own bottom. All I can do is tell mine. I try to tell them, don't do this, don't do that. And it seems like the more I tell them, the more they go left than right. I said, baby, go do this and, get back in school to do this and that. And they said, I don't know if I want to do that. They veer off this way. Or there's somebody doing something that I know that my kids should know better to do. And y'all ever, the enemy comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. You ever read when he wasn't on his job? In the book of Job, the Bible said that God had a conversation with Satan about Job. He said, have you considered my servant Job? And the devil said, yeah, I considered him, but you got a hedge around him. Wow. Did y'all catch that? God has a hedge around you. That's why some of the stuff you want to get into, you can't get in because God has a hedge around you. That's why sometimes you may say this but not that because God has a hedge around you. Even though the devil may get your child in trouble, God will get them out because there's a hedge around them. Why? Because they have purpose. And when you have purpose, there's a hedge around you. I know the devil's trying to kill plenty of our seeds, but there's a hedge around them. And you may think about it sometimes. How many of you ever had these dreams at night where you feel like you just falling and you kind of wake up because you like falling, but there's still a hedge around you. And you're still in the same place. Your mind just went somewhere, but you're still in the same place. There's a hedge around you.
Preach fast.
And then Psalm David said that the Lord is my shepherd. Ain't that great that you can call God your shepherd? David said, Lord, where do you want to go? When you going to lead me, I'm going to go. If you take me by the still water, that's fine. You get me in the green pasture, that's fine. He said, I don't care what you want to do, Lord. You are my God. He said, Lord, he said, you can restore my soul. Oh my God, if you ever can get your soul restored, if you could ever get your mojo back, as they say, if you could ever get your game back. You know, me and Brother Greeley talking about basketball, and he always talk about he still got his game. He still got what works for it. And when you can get back into what works for you for God, and what will work for you with God is getting in his word, beginning to read the word, begin to pray, begin to call on his name. He said, I'll answer while you yet speaking. Man, isn't that a powerful God that'll answer your prayer before you get it out? Lord, I need you to promote me. He says, waiting on you. God will give you things that you didn't even ask for. I was sharing with the brother in my office a few minutes ago how God blessed me with this executive job, and I didn't even fill out the application. And I didn't even want the job. And Sister Carla can tell you, I said, no. I kept thinking, no, I got a good job. And then it started weighing on my mind. God said, restoration. Said, I'm going to restore you. Said, I'm going to give you, y'all remember me talking about restoring? He said, I'm going to give you back everything that the cankerworm took from you. God said, I'm going to restore you. And when God restored you, David said, oh, he restored my soul. And man, it ain't nothing like having a refreshed spirit, a refreshed soul that God has restored you. Because you've been down so low to when you're down, look up. Anybody ever been like that? Anybody ever look like everything come your way is bad? All bad news with you, with your kids, with your home, and then you got to deal with all the nonsense in life. Bad, but when it's good. Amen. Oh my God. Psalms, I think, what Psalm 31 said that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Man, you ever had joy in the morning? You ever woke up feeling good, said, this is my day. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. It will make you buck. It will make you dance. It will make you shout. And you don't care who's watching because God has restored your soul. That's right. He leads you in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Why? What I'm saying is that God will tell you don't go there. Don't do that. Some things are just set up by the devil. They trying to get you. If they can just get you trapped, they got you. See, sometime in life, church, the enemy will allow you to run and do, and he'll get you all this money until you begin to say, I'm trying to get out of it. Anybody ever tried to get out of a bad relationship? Oh, y'all ain't never been in no bad relationship? Ain't none of y'all ever been shacking and said, I'm going to get out, I'm going to move out, and things got tough on you? Nobody want to say amen to that. How many of y'all been shacking and know you need to get out? Boy, it's funny how church folk get religion when the pastor get to talk. Y'all know y'all been living with your boyfriend and your girlfriend. Y'all been playing house for a long time. And then all of a sudden, you get convicted and you don't want to sleep with him anymore. And you wonder what's going on. I've been getting the milk and now I can't have the cow. Uh-oh. Y'all don't want to talk to me. But you ever notice when you want to make a change in life that it gets real tough on you? When you start telling the guy no, that you ain't going to have no more midnight crawling in and out of my house and things begin to change. But as long as you're doing it and it seems like you're working out, and then all of a sudden, because God is your shepherd, he begin to convict you. I mean, the preacher don't have to even preach on it. It's just something happens one day, and you say, I need to get my life together.
That's right.
Am I the only one that ever said that? Huh? Some of you, you know you drinking like fish. And you know you drinking like fish. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, I don't even want to drink today. I don't even desire to drink that today. Because something happens inside of you. And thank God that God is God. Because we're trying to fix everybody. See, I made a resolution in my mind. And I made this almost a year ago. I'm going to leave these people the hell alone. You do what you want to do. It's on you. I was at work one day, and me and this guy had this conversation about abortions. He said, well, are you pro-life? Or are you pro-choice? Y'all probably already know what each means. Pro-life means you're against abortion. Pro-choice means you're for abortions. Right? I said, I'm pro-choice. He said, but you a preacher. How could you be pro-choice? I said, I'm for everybody to have a choice. The Bible said that I set before you life and death. You have to make your choice. I can't choose for you. It is not my choice. It's your choice. But as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. I'm not going to do it. But if you're going to do it, that's your choice. And people get offended because you stand on the fact that they have a choice. But everybody makes choices. And when you don't make my choice, then all of a sudden, I got problems with you. It's your life. The Bible said, let every man work out his own soul salvation. You got to work it out with God for yourself. I can't go to heaven or hell for my kids. Jesus has already done that. If you don't want to receive the gift of God, it's still your choice. Y'all don't want to talk to me. I know we're so sanctimonious and we don't want people to choose for themselves. But you have a right to go to hell if that's where you want to go. That's your choice. And if you don't want to do it, you have a right not to do it. You can reject God. Plenty of people have done that. That's right. But it's not my choice. I'm not doing it. And when you begin to tell people, man, hey, if you want to cut your wrist, cut your wrist. I'm talking to a guy in the church, and he know who I am. Don't tell him about something you want to do. He'll say, do it. Call me, tell me where you're going to be. I'm a little bit different. I'm like, man, you don't want to make that decision. He said, you want to jump, jump. I'm like, no, don't you cancel nobody here. No, don't jump. Never jump. Don't cut yourself. But some people really joke that they don't get bogged down in the weeds with your choices. You know, to some degree, that's not a bad idea. Did y'all get to some degree? Agree? Church, you have a choice. It is your choice. If you don't want to come to church, you don't have to. I've heard people tell me, and I know this is in poor taste to even mention it. Well, man, I've left that church without walls, and I'm free. Look, you've been free. You can freely come in, and you can freely go out. I ain't never held anybody hostage. The door ain't locked. It's always wide open. If you want to go, get the hell out. That's on you. I don't care. So you ain't got to act like, well, you under some kind of bondage. There's no spells being worked here, baby. Oh, no, it ain't happening over here. You can come and go as you please. If you don't want to give, you don't have to give. Ain't no sheet with your name on it. We ain't putting you on blast. We're just encouraging you to do the right thing. Amen. But if you want to do the wrong thing, it's your choice. Huh? When you get through letting life beat you down and abuse you, you'll change. When you get through being second and never first, you'll change. When you get through being the bottom and never the top, when you get through being under somebody's feet, being a footstool to them, you'll change. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you'll change. Sometimes, church, you will not change until you have to hit rock bottom. There, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, I used to love wrestling, man. I was addicted to it. My kid used to run when wrestling came on because I would act crazy. The Rock had this move called the rock bottom. And what it was that he's facing this way, you facing that way, and he picked you up and slammed you on your back. And when life slams you on your back and rock bottom you will begin to change. But until you hit rock bottom, you won't change. Man, sometime in our life, we have to release these kids. We have to let them go and let them hit rock bottom. Hey, if that's what you want to do, you go on and do it. But when you hit the bottom, you're going to be there a while. You're going to be there until you come up. I'm not breaking you up. I'm not dragging you up. It is your choice. You have to do it. It's the same way in the church. That's right. Plenty of times we blessing folks that God said, I curse them. You trying to help people out, but God said, don't give that to them. I know y'all want to hear this. There's a curse on their life. Everything they do, nothing worse. And don't keep sowing into them. And I'm not sowing into them anymore. I'm sorry. I don't care what you're doing. I love you. And if you don't like that, that's your problem. Until you get it together, I will not sow into you. Because God said there's a curse there. You ever wonder why things don't work out for them? Because they curse. Everything they do, they're always full of drama. Nothing works for them. Because you curse. How do you get cursed? Disobeying God. Sometimes the Bible says that God loves those. He chasing those he loves. Sometimes, church, and I know this is tough. Sometimes when our kids acting up, you need to beat the brakes off of it. I know you don't want to hear that. But you sometimes that's what they need, a good old-fashioned whipping. I mean, dress them down, take the underwear off, put a switch on their butt, and I guarantee, my classmate is here today, and she's been coming off and on. And she can vouch for this statement I'll make, and I won't call her name, but y'all see it. There were people in our class that act up, but there was never anybody on rhythm all throughout high school years. She can tell you that people got into fights. There was never a stabbing, ever, in my school. She can also tell you that there was never a shooting. And we came up in the era where you could bring guns to school. The shotguns was in the window of people's trucks. Never was there a shooting. Never in the history of us going to that school, never did that happen. Never. You act up, you get tore up. Amen. And it worked. Now, I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm telling you, that's how things work. I'm not advocating beating kids. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that there has to be some structure. Huh? What do you think happens when they go to jail? Huh? And somebody that deal with them in jail if they won't go upside their head. And you up here patting, trying to play patty cake with them. They're not going to play patty cake with them. Huh? When they tell them to move, they mean move. When they tell them to sit, they mean sit. Do y'all get what I'm telling you? Life is full of structure. God is full of order and structure. And when God tells us to do something, we have to do what he says. And then you get offended because you have to suffer consequences because of your actions. If I say sit there, that's what I mean. I don't mean get up. Get up is when I say get up. Sit there means sit. And you have to learn to follow instruction. It can be a life-changing experience. Amen. Plenty of kids get out, boy, they go run right out the street. That's why they said stop and look. There's a reason for that. When a ball crosses the street, any experienced driver knows to hit the brakes. There's somebody coming behind it. Life will teach you things, church, that nobody else can teach you. Life will teach you how to love the unlovable. That's tough. Jesus telling us to love our enemies. Isn't that a tough commandment? Love them. I don't even like them. But he said love them. And what he means by it is that remove yourself out of the equation. And let it be a spiritual thing. Did that make sense? I don't know if y'all get that. I'm getting ready to close. When I remove me out of it, I remove my personal experiences with you out of it. I remove what you've done to me or against me out of it. And that is really hard to do. You know how many people leave churches and they badmouth you on their way out and talk about how bad you are? You know how many people leave jobs and they talk about the supervisors of the company, but it was a good job for them. Huh? You know how many people will come into your life to borrow money from you, have no intentions of paying it back? Huh? You know how many people will lie about their income only to get something free? People will do that. But there's something inherent inside of us that when we're doing things that are wrong, the Spirit of God convicts us. And we feel that, man, I shouldn't have done that. And I need to not do that anymore. And that's how it is when you're trying to love the unlovable. You don't want to do it, but the Spirit of God tells you that God is love, and you must love him anyway. Now, I don't have to keep dealing with you because I love you, but I can release myself from you and how you treated me. I can release myself from the pain of what I went through with you, and I don't have to go through that again. That's right. Church, I'm telling you today that God is a God of love. going through that. When you begin to give your life truly to God and you begin to make a conscious effort to God, God can turn your life around. And when I say turn it around, I'm not telling you that it's going to get better immediately. If anything, it might get worse. It might really get worse because when things are changing, people don't like change. And when you force them to change, you're going against will, and you're going against ego, and you're going against pride, and you're going against arrogance, and you're going against all of these things. But when you can begin to turn that, and when you can begin to show them that God is love, and that if you truly love God, you will do the things that God requires of you. And when I begin to do the things that God requires of me, He began to bless me as a son. He began to bless me as a son. He began to heal my body. But then it begins to be by His stripes I'm healed. The cattle on the thousand hills belongs to Him, and that belongs to me. God is the good shepherd. There is nobody like Him in all the earth. Nobody. Man, and God is not even judgmental like some of us are, even including myself. God is so long-suffering. God is so passionate.